Pulled off a big one this one.
Yeah, I'm glad for that.
Oh, I know.
I barely got past
Go ahead and rise for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for these past few days that I've been blessed to witness. Just the outpouring of help at the park and the way people in this community come together. And it's just a blessing beyond measure. I just thank you for each and every individual in this community, whether they live here or work here or both or whatever the case may be. Anybody that passes through here, they're an absolute blessing to this area. And we're thankful for them, and we're thankful for you. And we thank you for your guidance and wisdom in this meeting and every day that we're in this community to help us make decisions, not just tonight, but every day that we're in our work or we're in our homes or we're out on the streets or wherever we may be. Just help us make decisions that reflect you and the heart that you have for this community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right, Cindy, if you would.
Brian Elmore,
Present.
Bob Leahy,
Here.
Nathan Conklin,
Present.
Tim Heiss,
Here.
Tito Harris.
Here.
All right, and the consent agenda, which you've had an opportunity to review. Any questions or comments? If not,
I do.
Yep.
The minutes, you mentioned resolution number 2021 R10, amendment to the declaratory resolution and economic development plan for the Union City Economic Development Area. That mention in the minutes has no description of the change that was approved. So could I suggest that we just add the gist of what changed? I mean, it's just very general.
Well, the resolution title's there, so that, I mean, that's what captures that.
Okay, so they'd have to look at the actual resolution.
Correct.
That's fine.
But no, a good call up though, but yeah, that. So, any other questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
We have a first, and we have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Consent agenda approved as presented. We have a special presenter tonight. We're very honored to have Miss C.M. Bales here with Randolph County United. So, and you've got handouts for us and everything. So.
Yes, I have handouts. So as you know, I come every 3 months, so here I am again. So yeah, it's funny how fast 3 months goes.
Oh,
but
yes.
I did give everyone a handout prior. The first thing is just our last newsletter, just for your information. And then what I really wanted to go over with you all tonight is the sheet of the cultivating communities ready to act. Those planning sessions have been completed. They got, we had 4 sessions, 2 in the morning, which was 3.5 hours long, 2 in the evenings, each 3.5 hours long. We had about 150 people from around the community attend those sessions. We worked really, really hard to make sure we were being inclusive. We literally we partnered with the Community Foundation and sent out a flyer about the effort to every resident in Randolph County, really inviting them to get their input. And so we're really pleased with that. We have about 55 people now who are continuing with us to focus on those 5 initiatives. If you recall on your sheet, we're going to be focusing on business retention and expansion, housing, quality of life, which also includes a drug epidemic, education, and technology. And if you recall, those are the 5 issues that in 2019, when we talked to thousands of Randolph County residents, they said that was their 5 biggest concerns. And so when Randolph County United became an entity, our new board said those are the 5 initiatives that our organization should focus on for the citizens of Randolph County. And so that's what we're doing. And so now at the planning stage, now it's the ready to act phase. So we have task forces around each of these areas, and these are the first initiatives that they're focusing on. So business and retention, they're going to have a coffee and conversation with a marketing person this Friday. It's free, but we have some sponsors doing that. And then the housing group is working on an incentive program. I know, Mayor, you're on that group, to look at some type of program countywide, that we'd put in some money, both at the county, several cities maybe level, private level. We don't know how that's gonna look. We're brainstorming right now, so don't hold me anything to anything. So that's the housing. We're really wanting to focus on blight and repair. What I'm really excited about the housing is, I know you, Alan Stamper from Habitat for Humanities out of Richmond, who's we're part of their region, that he's involved and he's engaging, so we're very excited about that model. Quality of life, we're looking at connecting all our parks. I can tell you Scotty Harvey from the tourism had Kevin Shook and his drone company out doing footage, and she's has him doing footage of each of our parks. We really think that we want to promote our parks. I use the example that since I grew up around the Spartansburg area, I grew up at the Spartansburg Park, and I have lots of fond memories there. But if you're not from the Spartansburg area, you might not know that the Spartansburg Park is still really great, and it has a building there and the natural spring. And so we want to have signage for each of the parks, like in Fireland, Union City, off the main roads. We know we have to go through all the state stuff, we get that, but to direct people there that they might not know it, create a brochure and this drone footage to really promote all the wonderful parks we have in Randolph County. So that's the thing that the Quality of Life is doing. Then they're creating 2 splinter groups, one for a trail committee and one for a kayak committee. Now, I know I said kayak in Randolph County. There was actually a run, I guess, and they have found remains of like where you can, the cement where you can get in your kayak and back up on the Mississinawa River, about 8 or 9 mile run. And so they're looking, there's a group that's very passionate. We're going to form a group, and there's been people interested in that, to how we can get that back open. And so then, of course, we've all been talking about trails and how to connect, you know, Union City up through Winchester to Lynn to the Cardinal Green Road in Saintville. So those are kind of 2 splinter groups. And then you can see the education. We have all 5 school superintendents involved in our high school group, plus businesses, really focusing on an internship apprenticeship program. We have our first meeting with the guidance counselors on this Wednesday in our office with a representative from IB Tech, to help us set up a very, very specific learning objective focused internship apprenticeships for all our students in Randolph County. I'm really excited about that one. We have then another group that started a child care coalition to help with the sustainability of our child cares in Randolph County, because we all know child care is very, very hard to do. And so we want to put support underneath them, and then technology continues to work with the commissioners and the county council. So I'm really excited about that. And what I want to say is that some of these are very what we call those low-hanging fruit, short wins, you know, short-term wins, because we want to show people that we're moving, right? We want to show action, but know that each of these groups, like Quality of Life's the best example I can give you right now, because all these have just met one time, all right? So we're still in the infancy stage of this, but so Quality of Life's working on the parks, right? And that's going to be pretty easy to put a brochure, get the pictures, get the drone footage. But then the long-term ones are the trails and the kayak, right? And so each of these committees will have that. They'll have some things that they're working on that can be immediate, really have high impact right away, versus a long-term that we have to start, but it might be a while before we see a lot of impact with that. So each of these committees are going to be looking at these levels. And what I'm hoping to get the word out to all of you and everybody that might be listening is that we need more people. We need more people behind your passion area, right? So if you're really passionate about trails, or if you're really passionate about kayaking, or any of these initiatives, more room the merrier. And we want people involved. And we want these to be more like task force and not committees or action groups, just around those issues that people are passionate about and don't want to be on this committee that's going to last forever and then nothing gets done, right? So that's the purpose. That's totally the push from our office and the work that we're doing. And so I wanted to update you all on that. So do you have any questions? I do want to make a note about I'm going to update you about the Ready Grant. So yes?
So if people want to join one or another of these task forces or committees, how do they go about that?
Sure. Just call our office, 584-3266, and we will get you assigned and signed up. And they also, our web page, we will also be working, it's not right now, but working on updating all of this on our webpage so people can access, and there's some forms on there that you can do as well, that you could send in notices to us if you want to get engaged in this work. Any other questions on that? So just the Ready Grant, so it continues. I kind of forget who I've told and who not, so bear with me if you already know this. There were 17 regions who applied, and so we have all submitted our applications. The next step is for us to make, each region has to make a face-to-face 30-minute presentation to the selection committee, which is December 3rd. That's going to be December 3rd. Ours is in the morning. And then we will know, we're still supposed to know by the end of the month of December, but we're not sure. We can tell you, there was, they had allocated, in the statute, it says that there will be awards to 10 counties, and of course up to $50 million. But they also had of 17 regions, 17 regions, not 17 counties, 17 regions, 10, they say in 10 regions in the statute. But of the $500 million they have set aside, of those 17 regions combined asked for $1 billion. And so it's competitive. We know that. We have still hired, we're still working with a consulting firm. We are meeting weekly as a group to get our presentation ready. We can tell, we've heard that, you know, our application's been looked at very favorably. They like it. We are very pleased with our consulting firm, so we're going in, putting our best foot forward, and I will just keep you, updated as we go along. So, and then after that, whatever money we will get, it'll go back to looking at who were our top applicants and that, and be reaching out to those people to really kind of look at what we're doing. So we're still very excited and very thrilled with the Vision, Corner project. So, so yeah, so that's that. Any questions on Ready? And then I have one last question for you.
What was the consulting group helping with that?
Can I email you?
Yeah, I was just curious.
Oh, it's one I don't know. They're because they're an architectural firm. We were also working with Structure Point. There was two of them. So there was Structure Point, who I've worked with before. They did like the huge county thing when I was on the Economic Development Board. They're out of Indianapolis.
They help with Stellar as well.
Yeah, and it's an acronym. I'll email it to all of you so you guys can look at it. Look who that is.
And then you said something about you would, if the territory gets the Ready Grant, how would it be distributed?
So, again, it has to go through, we compared it to, you guys might know it, I do not, because this is before my time, regional cities, some of you probably remember it, when I guess our community did not get it. So how they did that process was even after those cities who got it, those areas who got it, they had to go back, reapply for their projects, then IEDC or whoever, I don't know who it is, had to approve that, and then they got the funding.
That's not this, right?
That's not this. But we still don't know, but that's what people were talking about, that they think it's probably gonna be somewhat in that form. Because it really, if you look at our application, the idea is just looking at those broad, what we call K.I.S. projects, right? That all kind of form, every single project's in it, but we still have all our score sheets and that kind of stuff. So it's really, it's quite the dance.
Okay. That helps. I understand those processes.
I don't even think they figured out. And in their defense, this is a lot of money going out very quickly, and I think IDC is doing the best they can. I honestly do, because I've talked to them, and I just think it's a big initiative. The governor's very passionate about it, and I'm really, when is it in anybody's history that we've had this much money coming into our communities to try to improve them? So it's exciting, and we just hope we're going to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
So, but I will email you that consultant firm. But then as I going around kind of this end of the year, it's hard to believe that Randolph County United is almost a year old. Can you believe that? I mean, you were part of that decision.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I just wanted to kind of ask the groups is, are there things that you would like our office to do that we're not doing? As we reflect, we want to improve, we want to get better. are there things that you think we should be doing that we're not doing? Or maybe things we're doing that you want us to stop doing? I don't know. Maybe that's better, right? So give me less to do and not more to do, but.
Anything come to mind? Nothing comes to my mind immediately. Still digesting ready, so.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have asked already. I should have asked that before ready.
No,
But again, I'll just leave that as an open question. If you think of things as I come back every 3 months, just let's know that we really, really want to keep improving. We want to serve our community well. And we definitely think this is a partnership between Randolph County United and all the community. And so, but we also know we're new and, we have things to figure out, so.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Big
Thanks for
time.
allowing me to come.
Big time. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Welcome anytime.
See you in 3 months.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast time is flying. Well, speaking of time flying, huge hats off to Randolph County, or Randolph Eastern School Corp, Aaron Black, superintendent, and extending the volunteer opportunity to the entire staff. That a large number of them were out there yesterday working in the park for Community Christmas, and then Workforce sent a contingent of approximately 23 employees out today, and they were a huge help. And so we are as far along for Community Christmas at this point in time than we've ever been. Yeah, I mean by far, and it's amazing. It's almost pinch me good because it's almost all the trees are staked and we're getting the ground displays out, and so we actually will have 2 weeks to troubleshoot, which we've never had before, and that's just a blessing beyond measure.
You ever had 2 minutes?
Yeah, no kidding.
Get ready, we make it snow sooner rather than later.
Yeah, hopefully it will snow now. Now we've got something to ground. Now we've got the stakes in, but yeah, I don't know. I've been telling my wife this and a few other people. I just got this sneaking suspicion that it's just going to be absolutely phenomenal this year. As if last year wasn't great, but I just think it's going to be huge. And so hopefully we're going to work hard on capitalizing that for our businesses, because our businesses are going to try to stay open later on the weekends. Our decorations for the poles are done and ready to pick up. Larry's going to try to he said he's going to try to get those tomorrow. There's no way that's happening tomorrow. It's going to be Wednesday, I think, to get the pole decorations so we can do the wayfinding. Yeah, all down Chestnut, up Columbia, and down Oak. That's the design. And I did not make a couple of our street guys very happy today when they had a bucket truck this morning and I confiscated it this afternoon because I wanted to take advantage of the Workhorse being there. But I did share, this is something I shared with the Workhorse employees before they left for the evening. If what I witnessed out there from them is anything to expect in terms of when vehicles start flying off the line out there, we've got something special that's going to happen out there. Because they just did a phenomenal job. Now I know staking lights and putting up Christmas stuff is not the same as building a step van. I know that's not the same thing. But the teamwork, the attitude, the cooperation, the willingness to learn and do whatever we needed, all of that stuff in spades, it was just wonderful to see. It was a good group of folks out there. And it's enlightening and it's heartening to see something like that, and those people could have a significant impact on the landscape of this community in the next year. So anyway, that was that, and hopefully you've seen the covered bridge. The roof is done. I'm going to give as many kudos and hats off to John Goodhue and Goodhue Roofing as I can, because it's just awesome when they're going to do that on their own dime. They're doing the rail tower as well, and they did a phenomenal job. It looks exquisite. So the painting is next, and I'm praying the painting gets done quick because we do have to light it still, and but that's just really coming together nice. And last, certainly not least, so I want to give a hats off to all the crews, especially EMS, made Halloween what it was. It went off, as far as I know, completely. So I had no reports of anything running amok, and it was not a pleasant night with the weather, but everybody made do, and there's a lot of people out and about that I witnessed, especially with the weather, the elements the way they were. And everything seemed to go smooth. So appreciate them and appreciate the safe environment that they helped create. So, department heads, Steve, do you have anything you want to share before we pass on to council? We'll go down the road. Start, Tito, with you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I noticed that at the park, and I did see some of the work being done, and I talked to a couple of people. But in the area between the covered bridge and the horse arena,
Yes.
there seems to be a break in a water pipe there, and it's leaking hugely, like creating a new water flow towards the Little Mississinawa River there.
Breaking the, so where's it coming from? Is it out,
It looks like a natural spring, but it's not. I know there's a pipe there.
out in the grass? Or in
Yes.
the- Okay. I'll see
Is
some.
that on the
Just-
south side of the river, or the east side of the river, or?
It's east side of the river. What is that? North side of the horse arena.
Okay, so,
So it's east, it's on the east side of the river though? It's not on the
Yes.
same side of the river as the horse arena?
It's on the same side of the river as. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the west. I'm sorry. I'm confused. It's the west side of the river.
also the west side.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't know where that's at, I just actually walked through there, so I'll go take a look at that first thing.
Yeah, so I'm not familiar. I wasn't down in there, but I was right by there. I didn't see it, so, yeah.
And I took
So
some
it looks
pictures.
like
I
like
was
a
so
little-
busy I didn't have a chance to say. I can show you.
Like water bubbling out of the ground, basically?
Yeah.
Or- Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's like flowing like.
How close is it to the yard hydrant that's out there?
I don't know what that is, and I don't know.
It's a pipe coming out of the ground with a spigot on the top of it. There's a yard hydrant out there that's the only thing that there'd be any pressure coming out of. If
I can
that's
show
been
you some
broke
pictures
off.
if you want. I mean, I just.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
So anyway, I'll
We'll
get
get
to
to the bottom of it tomorrow.
Okay. The other one is, I have two things. The alley that runs between Plum and Howard Streets on the south side of the Assembly of God Church. That's a high usage alley because of its proximity to the school. And there's some major potholes there, like cars bouncing around. I'm wondering if those can be like covered up or fixed somehow.
Absolutely. So alley between Plum and Howard.
On the south side of the Calvary Assembly of God.
Okay.
And just the third one is a question, any updates on the, on our plan for the American Rescue Plan funds?
Not at the moment because we have no, we've received one bid, but don't have it ready to present to council because we need to get 2 more bids for the housing development on Plum. And then Vision Corner, we're waiting on, well, actually, we could probably present Vision Corner next time because we've gotten the
The
final.
only thing I'm waiting on is your list of equipment, Mr. Mayor.
Wait a minute,
That's been forwarded to Mr. Black, and
So we'll get
And
that to
then-
Cody and then it'll be,
Okay, and then where we have a lot of room for discussion will be what we were hoping to submit for the child advocacy. Not that we can't still go that route, but the location we were hopeful for, that we were hopeful to have something to present here real soon, would hit a roadblock because the building owner is struggling with what they want to do. Putting it as politically correct as I can right now. Might be my tongue. So anyway, so yeah, we've got some talking we need to do there in terms of, because I think we're on agreement that that's a very worthwhile endeavor and it fits the mold of our allocation. So we've got one other possibility that we don't know yet in terms of location that we need to bid out. So yeah, that's something that we can still have a lot of robust discussion around on what you guys think would be the best avenue.
I was under the impression that Baker Tilly was developing an actual plan that we could have a look and talk about.
Develop an actual plan. No, they were giving us verification if we could allocate it toward the housing street project. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they were providing that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely. Yeah, because we wanted to make sure we were in the right there because it was infrastructure. But we were concerned, okay, is it okay for new infrastructure? And the answer was yes, as long as it's planted. So that's where we were at, and so we were put us in good stead. But again, we don't have we've got one one proposal that just come in today, and we need to solicit 2 more, at least try to solicit 2 more for the infrastructure. So that way we know what we're looking at, and that way you guys can take a hard look at what's presented, vote on the best option, and then also gives us teeth to go back to the county, because we've already made an initial presentation to the county for infrastructure assistance for the housing development. Because they were good in supporting Winchester with their housing development, so, and we know their housing is a huge, it's, you know, so it's an opportunity for the county to step up and make a pitch in that direction for us, so.
That's all I have.
Okay. Tim?
I don't have anything.
Nate?
I don't have anything.
Bob?
I don't have anything.
Brandon?
The only question I had was, we had discussion, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago about, and maybe longer, I've kind of lost track of time, about the possibility of a revolving loan fund for local businesses. And I think the takeaway was that we were going to investigate with Baker Tilly about setting that program up. I'm not sure if we've got any updates on the possibility of implementing that program still, or if that's still even a need, or...
It is a need. I have not heard anything or seen anything back from Baker Tilly at all. I would just have to re-engage that conversation with them.
Okay.
As you
Was
can imagine,
Prinky
there's
diving
other
into
things
that
that's
too, to see
piled
what-
Sure.
on the to-do list.
I don't remember that he was doing anything. We didn't have him working on that at all, did we? Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we just need to follow up with Baker Tilly, because
Actually, Cian's here, we'd probably get a copy of what Randolph County
I
United
already
is.
have that.
You already have
Yeah,
it. All right, you already have it.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
good question. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. New business ordinance 2021-15, which is the elected official salary ordinance, and that is on the first reading. So you guys should have that in
Actually,
your...
can I ask a
You sure
clarification
can,
question?
absolutely.
The house on State Line and Division, any update on that?
It's been awarded, and the demo contractor, as of midweek last week, was waiting on AEP to remove the electricity, and as soon as that was done, he was ready to knock it down.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
It sounds awful to say when you level something to the ground, but that's a win, but that's a win.
In this case, it is.
So any questions on the ordinance number 2021-15? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval on the first reading.
That's basically no change, right? I mean,
The only change, there was a slight change in the clerk treasurer, there's no change in mayor or,
Council.
yeah, any of that, or council, but there was a slight change in the clerk treasurer, and then there was a more significant change in the city judge, and that's because she's seen all the cases now, basically, that Winchester's not. So, I mean, their docket is significantly increased.
That's for the entire county, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does the city see any financial
Increased
gain?
revenue, a little bit.
Okay.
It's still in the hole, yeah, it's very little, but it's one of those deals, you're in the hole either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do see a little bit. And my biggest contention when that first was posed to us, I put it in our judge's lap and say, are you comfortable with this? And this is something you think you can do and do you want to do? And she did. She wanted to take them on, so.
Do we have long-term plans for that? Is the city going to do this indefinitely?
No, I would not say indefinitely.
Okay.
But to answer your question, no, we don't not have any long-term plans drawn out right now.
Okay.
And I'm certainly open for suggestions.
Probably worthy of saying out loud is that our judge is not likely to, is going to have a limited amount of time she's going to serve. She's not going to serve
Yes.
indefinitely.
That's right.
She was right at the tail end of being grandfathered in
Yes.
on a non-attorney judge. So any judge in the future has to be a
That's gonna be a
bar-certified
problem.
attorney. And so
That's
that
gonna
is
be a
a
big
major
problem.
challenge. So
Yep.
unless we have a nice retired attorney that would like a little sideline as a judge show up on our doorstep, which we only have one in the immediate area, and I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. And I don't think Ryan's anywhere too close to retiring. So,
Is the judge position, do you have to live in Union City?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll check on that. That's a great question. You know what? Talk about
If it is elected,
If it is
yeah,
elected, they have to be.
they would.
Oh, yeah, you're right, it is an elected position, isn't it? So, yeah, they would,
Yeah.
which that really hamstrings a community,
Yeah.
big time.
And that's being, I understand it's being debated and they're considering legislation to revoke that requirement for towns.
The judge or the?
No, for the
attorney.
judge being an attorney.
Okay.
For towns with less than 10,000.
That would be huge.
well, and which is kind of a change in position with probably different administrations or philosophy, because the assumption, it was never spoken out loud, the assumption was it was a effort to try to eliminate some of these small town courts. But sometimes you find that doesn't, I think they probably didn't realize what the value of the small town courts were until, because if we eliminate, and we talk about the assets of that court, while it's not a financial gain, one of the things we have is that all of these cases would be into the county courts, and the county courts are already overloaded.
Yeah.
And so our civil infractions and everything would fall into the county, and
It'd take forever.
and I think, quite frankly, I think it would just wreak havoc with our code enforcement.
Yeah, it would.
It would destroy
bring some
our
things
code
to a grinding
enforcement if we
halt.
lost that.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Completely
that's a
agree.
good point, Tito. I'm glad you mentioned that. We probably need to get details on that and maybe see whether we need to help advocate for that, and push that along, because that would be I think we'd have a much better chance of a replacement down the road for our judge if that were the case.
Big time.
But yeah, that was the assumption at the time. I remember that it really appeared that they were trying to eliminate the small courts, small town courts.
If there's no other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion for approval on the first reading.
I'll move that we adopt ordinance 2021-15, elected official salary ordinance on the first reading.
I second.
The first and second. Cindy, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Leahy,
Yes.
Nathan Conklin,
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Tito Karas.
Yes.
And then ordinance 2021-16, which is the sewage dumping fee ordinance, and that is on the first reading. Basically, it's determined in the best interest of Union City to establish dumping fees for the residents of the city and surrounding communities. Wherefore, the city council has determined, if you so choose, to vote that the below fees are appropriate after taking into consideration the rising cost of treatment of wastewater. So notice that, I don't know, Monty, if you had anything you want to add, but
It's the same as Winchester's fee schedule.
Perfect.
With Winchester's wastewater
Who will
treatment.
this affect? Existing citizens?
It'll affect people like barn sanitation when they come in to
Yeah.
have us process their waste.
Okay.
So it increases that fee.
Usually there's a column on here that says what it is today. Any idea what it is today in comparison to these? It says commercial, industrial, residential, but it doesn't say.
Yeah, like how significant is the increase that we're approving? Is it substantial, or, I mean?
Basically, I think we've had pretty much interest from one person that would use it, and so they would just use it for units that they service on this side of the county, and then on that side of the county would still go to Winchester.
so they'd be paying the exact
So I
same.
wouldn't think it'd be a tremendous lot.
But we
And
haven't
Rob
had-
doesn't think that it would be,
But we haven't had an well, I guess, but
we haven't been doing it.
We haven't been doing this as a.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we've had some instances of where we've taken some dumping, but we haven't had an ordinance. I guess this isn't a replacement of
Oh.
the existing ordinance.
just
Okay.
to see
All right,
what
that's-
we're-
What the point is.
Uh,
So we're establishing this as opposed to
Gotcha.
updating it.
will the organization put a damper on our plans with everything that, with our system that we just upgraded and redid everything? If they did the maximum 500 gallons, it doesn't hinder our system at all?
No,
Okay.
we have,
5,000.
yeah, significant capacity now, and we can do that. Rob, of course, looked at it before,
Okay.
as careful as he is. He looked at it very carefully before he did it.
Attention to detail for sure.
And he can be judicious how he takes that in,
Yeah.
where he puts it. And,
Yeah, he could simply either say, Matt, we're not taking it.
yeah. But he's got some options of how he handles it depending on the quantity, so.
Absolutely. Rob's excellent.
The only question I really have that throws up a yellow flag is all travel trailers and trucks shall be charged $15. To my knowledge, that there's a location in our park that nobody mans. So are we going on the honor system here? Are we locking that up or what?
No, and I'm thinking this is just if they dump at the
I
plant.
just wanted
It's a sewage plant
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, the RV dump at the park would still be just there.
Free of charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Works for me.
And no
Everybody-
charge for anyone living in the city limits either, and pays the sewage bill. No charge for their dumping.
Travel trailers or trucks.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
Point C there, yeah. I do that.
So I would hereby entertain a motion for approval with no other questions.
I will move that we adopt ordinance number 2021-16, an ordinance establishing a fee schedule for the Union City Sewage Department.
We have first,
First reading, sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. Go to a second.
I'll second.
Tito, second. Cindy, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Todd Leahy,
Yes.
Nathan Conklin,
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Tito Ferris.
Yes.
Mayor, Rob would like to request that the council consider suspending rules,
Okay.
because he has some pressure from,
I'll make the motion, we suspend the rules.
Okay, we have a
Some
motion.
pressure, I'm sorry, pressure from, what do we
he's got, they're really wanting to use it.
Oh,
They gotta go real bad. So I couldn't help myself.
One for Tim right there.
When you have 3 women live in your house.
Okay, we got first, do we have a second to suspend the rules?
I will move that we adopt ordinance number 2020.
Well, we got to suspend
Yes,
the
I
rules first.
second.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Is that a second?
That'll be second.
Threw everybody off there.
You seem to be in favor, so.
And then, yeah. And we can,
All those in favor signify, to suspend the rules signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The rules have been suspended. I would hereby entertain a motion for approval on the second reading for ordinance 2021-16.
all right, I will move that we adopt ordinance number 2021-16, an ordinance establishing a fee schedule for the Union City Sewage Department on the second reading.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll second.
Cindy, if you would, roll call vote.
Can I ask a question?
You sure can.
Suspending the rules, was that Tim first and Bob second?
Yes.
Okay.
Or-
and then
Yeah,
Bob and
somewhat
then
in there.
I think actually it's now Nathan and Bob or something.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Leahy.
Yes.
Nathan Conklin.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Tito Ferris.
yes.
All right. Very good. Any visitors wishing to address the council? If not, boy, this sounds weird. Date of the next,
I've got one question. Anything happened at Board of Works today that needs to be,
No,
normally you bring that up,
I
but Monty
didn't,
does.
and I should have just said that
Nothing of any
nothing of any significance.
All right.
So,
all right, date of the next city council meeting will be Monday, November 22nd, that's Thanksgiving week, at 6 PM. Date of the next Board of Public Works meeting, also that day, November 22nd, Monday at 1 PM. I would hereby entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have first, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Holy smokes, 6:30.
Not like I talked a lot.
No.
We had a lot to share.
Yeah, yeah.
I told you it was James.